Thank you, Peggy, for that very kind introduction. I really love being able to engage with the IES Math Summit. When I agreed to do this keynote, I said to the planning team, given the goals and purpose of this event, it's really important that we feature the voices of our students. I've spent 34 years in education as a teacher and then a principal, a superintendent, and now, of course, as Deputy Secretary of Education. And I know that if we authentically listen to our students, they speak from their hearts, they tell us what they need, and they share their dreams for the future. Whenever I talk with students, I always learn something new. That's why my keynote today is not a speech, it's a conversation with 5 bright, inspiring young women who are deeply engaged in STEM learning. You'll learn all about the amazing things that they're working on right now with AI, art, research. You're going to hear how they use mathematics as the launching point for their STEM experience today, and how it will continue to be an essential part of their learning and their future success. You'll hear how teachers have played an important role in each of their journeys. These young women know that they belong in STEM. Here at the U.S. Department of Education, we have a message for all students. You belong in STEM. For too long, girls and people of color haven't been welcomed and included in the STEM community. We've seen this dynamic in schools and also in the workplace. But there is room in STEM world for everyone. These 5 girls are showing us just that. Every one of our students deserves the opportunity to engage in relevant, rigorous, and joyful STEM learning that motivates them to work harder, to learn more, and to solve the pressing problems we face. They deserve hands-on, minds-on learning that's dynamic, exciting, and can be applied across all the STEM subjects. These opportunities should be happening everywhere, in schools, after-school programs, community gathering spaces, and in post-secondary education institutions. At the U.S. Department of Education, we're working with the STEM community so we can enhance STEM education for all. We have national partners and grassroots partners. Each one is making this commitment that will be a force multiplier to deeply and positively impact our communities. The STEM Next Opportunity Fund is one of those partners. They set a goal to engage 1 million girls in after-school STEM activities by 2025, and they already met their goal in record time. And now they've set a new goal to inspire 20 million more youth with STEM learning opportunities by 2027. The young women who joined me for this keynote are all connected to STEM Next partners. They are members of STEM Next Flight Crew. Their role is to be youth ambassadors and to use their voices to amplify the importance of STEM in their communities and join the national conversation about STEM. Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to have this conversation with you this morning. We're here to have a conversation with these really smart and creative girls who are our future leaders, and they're part of this passionate effort around STEM education. And I want to have like a real conversation of what does it mean with STEM education. You're part of the flight crew, and that's really cool, the STEM Next Flight Crew, to find out, well, what's that all about? But let's just start out by saying, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us your name and some of your, and just your background, just like a 1 second or 1 minute, 1 sentence introduction. You can start.
Yeah, I'll start.
Yeah.
I'm Evie. I'm from Wisconsin. I'm going to be an incoming senior, and STEM has always played a role in my life. It wasn't really until my freshman year of high school when I joined a robotics team that I really found my passion, though.
My name is Lily. I'm the representative from Oregon. I'm going to be an incoming sophomore. And STEM, I think, started for me in the 2nd grade when I joined the Awesome Girls STEM program for Oregon State University. That really sparked my interest and inspired me to want to learn more.
My name is Olive. I'm an uprising sophomore in the state of Honolulu, Hawaii. My STEM story has always been It started when I was young. My mom always put me in a bunch of different STEM programs, but recently I found a passion for art and have been learning ways to incorporate that into STEM, and that's just something I really love.
Thank you, Olive.
Hi, I'm Mayla Papula. I come from Virginia, actually really close to the DC area, about 20 minutes out.
Kind of neighbors.
Right. And my STEM story started when I joined the Junior First Lego League Challenge, and we did a project on electronic waste, and this really stemmed an interest in electronics and coding, and now I'm using my skills to detect diseases and try to find cyberbullying text messages and social causes like that.
Hi, my name is Kiana. I'm from San Diego, California. I'm an incoming freshman in high school. And STEM has really always been a part of my life. What it allows me to connect with other people as I have hearing assistive devices. And I really got interested in robotics specifically when I first joined FLL in 8th grade.
You know, what strikes me about your introductions is you each had something that you were involved in outside of the classroom. So there's classroom learning and what you're doing with your science and math in school with your teachers, and then there was something else you joined, a robotics club, or what was the one you called it?
The Awesome Girls STEM
Awesome Girls STEM program, but things that you did that took you outside of the walls of the classroom. So I think there's kind of that combination of what you're learning in school and then how you're applying it. And I'm thinking about at the Department of Education where I'm from, I'm the Deputy Secretary of Education, and like you said, I'm in Washington, D.C. now, but I'm from San Diego. We just connected before the panel about that. At the Department of Education, we launched this initiative called You Belong in STEM, and it's to send a message to have more students and more support for girls and people of color to join the STEM fields. And what does it actually take to do that? And I'm hearing a lot of passion and interest from each of you about what got you there. I'm interested really in the art and the science that you talked about. So can you talk a little bit more about that and our efforts around belonging in STEM and having people feel like they're a part of that? Say a little bit more about the art and how you combine the art and the science.
At my middle school where I've been there since kindergarten, we didn't really have art every day, and that was something that I really needed, something I needed for myself. So when I joined high school, or when I went to high school, I didn't join a program. Our school has a natural program where we all have art classes every day, and I took that outside of my normal classroom. And over COVID, I painted every single day on canvas. I spent like 4 hours on my couch painting every single day, and it was something that I really, really got into. I took my art to different mediums. I used different platforms to get into digital art, and so using that in STEM, I've also explored like culinary chemistry, and I found different passions in that. So whenever I'm working with like science or something like that, I try to see how to make it pretty, and I'm working with math, I see that, and coding or something like that, I try to make it look nice. So that's just something I always try to put my creativity into when working forward with STEM, and just something I really love. I think school has helped me in that passion, especially at my new school where we're working on that more every day. But it's something that I have to do on my own and take the reins of, I guess, and just do what I want to do in that. So I'm really glad I'm able to do that and find that creativity in everyday life.
A lot of people, when they think of art, they think it's different than science. You're going to be an artist, you're going to be a scientist. Or if you're a scientist, you can't be an artist. But if you talk to scientists and artists, they'll actually say there's a combination there, the art and the science of something. So does someone want to talk about when did you first know you wanted to be a scientist, or what's driving you to go into the field of science?
Well, I definitely first knew that I wanted to be a scientist, be a part of STEM, when I joined my first math competition in 6.5 years ago now. And it was just a great opportunity. It was all thanks to my middle school math teacher who had the confidence in me and kind of pushed me to problem solve with the other students that were in higher grades than me. And that kind of just, that confidence that she had in me gave me confidence and gave me different kind of the attitude that I can do anything, and STEM is for me. So
you just made the connection to the out-of-school experience and the in-school experience, how important your teachers are. And the classroom experience leads to the interest in doing something beyond the classroom and 4 hours on the couch painting, but tie it to what you learned in school. I know you have a really great story about what drove you to want to be into science.
Right, so I really got interested in science and STEM when I was super young. It all really started in 3rd grade when my teacher was like, hey, do you know how your hearing aids work? Do you know the technology behind it? And that's when I was like, I want to know. I want to know what drives my everyday life, what allows me to connect with other people. And that's when I started getting interested in technology, AI, robotics, and that really just set me on my path for STEM.
Want to talk about your
Yeah,
interest?
sure. Like I was saying, like with the awesome girls, in 2nd grade, my mentor, Kathy Law at Oregon State University, showed me this club, and she was like, oh my gosh, you have to join this after school club. It'd be so much fun. You'd be able to connect with other girls. And I was able to do that, and the first thing we did was DNA tests on strawberries. We took DNA out of the fruit, and that was so fascinating to me. I was just like, I don't know how to describe it. I was just like so fascinated, and that's what like just sparked my interest for STEM. So I owe a lot of my excitement for STEM to her. Yeah.
I love how you recognize your teachers. You both recognized teachers. Actually, you did too. And how you all did, how the teachers have played an important part and made that connection. How about you?
Yeah, for me, it was actually more my family who was really supportive of my STEM journey. Mm-hmm. So my mom early on, she got me into all these like STEM programs like Junior FLL Odyssey of the Mind. And that's like, I mean, if you're a little kid, you have all the time in the world. So what are you going to do? Sit on your couch or go play with robots? So I had a lot of fun like learning how to code and all that. And I really found my passion for like taking a research project and trying to find a solution to it. So like as I said, my very first year we went to electronic waste disposal, and I wanted to learn more about how we could use electronics to like help change the world in some sense. So that led me to more research projects and eventually learning Java, which my dad was a really great help with that. Like he would sit next to me for hours on end helping me debug code, go through the logic. And I think the thing about CS is like it's more than the syntax. You have to look underneath it. You have to look at the art behind it. You look at the logic, you know. Like CS and all the stuff where the STEM itself is like a language for helping understand the outside world. And I feel like through me learning CS, I've been able to help understand like how our world works better and how we can make it better. So now I'm like doing CS projects like detecting cyberbullying and text messages and just a lot of cool stuff. Because once you have that base of STEM, you can take it anywhere.
I'm going to make a connection when you got real excited about the strawberry and extracting the DNA. And that, like, wow, that's amazing. It was showing you something that you didn't see with just your eyes. And you kind of just said the same thing about it's not just the code, it's like what's underneath it and why are you doing it? And there's something there for that. And I think that curiosity and that sparks the interest is what part of our efforts around belonging in STEM when we have students that have a sense of belonging. I have this interesting thought around that I heard from another student in STEM a couple months ago, where she talked about the science and what are they doing the science for. You want to interrupt cyberbullying and look at the code of text and figure out something. You wanted to figure out how your hearing aids worked. So there's a why behind the science. So I'm interested in the belonging part is who's doing the science and why are they doing it? And when science is being done, can science be done to hurt and to harm, or can science be done to help and to make a better world, like you just said? Like you want to learn, you want to use what you know to make a better world. And so I want to know like what's driving you, since you're going into the STEM field. You're the ones that are going to do the science. What do you want to do it for? What kind of difference do you want to make in the world with what you know, being a leader and one of the ones that are part of this flight crew? You're going to show us where to go, but what are you going to create and why are you creating it?
Yeah, I think, as you said, STEM is important everywhere, whether you're cooking, whether you are exploring nature, whether you are on a playground testing physics. STEM is everywhere, and I feel like for me, I really want to expand STEM. I think it's one of my top goals to teach kids about STEM and kind of expand my knowledge to other people. So whether right now I have a 501c3 nonprofit in my community and I want to extend that to greater communities in my future to help kids learn STEM, do strawberry DNA extractions everywhere. So I think it's just really important in my future career.
What is your nonprofit focused on?
So it's focused on robotics and after-school STEM education. So we partner with schools all over our area and hold after-school classes, again, teaching like just the fun things that hopefully open up other students' eyes to STEM.
That's wonderful. How about you?
I definitely want to do something similar to that. I want to spread the love of STEM to girls all around the world. I know that I can start in my own state by working with my Awesome Girls program. I'm going to probably do a lot of volunteering this summer and be kind of like a mentor there to get the young like kindergartners and first graders ready for STEM and doing certain experiments with them, like just basic stuff like DNA or just like finding certain bugs or whatever they're interested in. I really want to like just spark that interest at a young age because I know that's what they did for me, so I want to return that favor back.
It all started with a strawberry.
Yeah.
And I love that you want to give back and
Yeah.
make that kind of difference. How about you?
I have to say, I've also found the DNA in a strawberry. That was very cool. But my goal in STEM is to just basically make it known. So when I'm older, I want to make something, whether it's through my art or through my job, whatever that may be. I hope to make STEM known and visible because it's a big part of my life. I see it now because of all those programs that brought me up when I was younger. I see it in everything. And so I want that to be something other people see and other people get excited by, that there's something behind the something. There's something behind a wall and behind your computer. So I think that's just my main path, and just to make it more accessible and sustainable and easy to access and to be in touch with through whatever that may be, whether it's with an organization. Some organizations I've not worked with, but been a part of have, helped me do that. Notice those sort of aspects that I didn't know were there.
It's a really beautiful quality the three of you all shared about what's been given to you and what you've experienced. You recognize it for what it is. You can name it and not just use it for yourself. You're like, I want that for other people. Yeah. I'm going to give back, which is just a really admirable quality. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so for me, STEM is more than the numbers. It's more than the science. It's also about developing skills that you need in everyday life. So whether or not a girl wants to pursue a STEM career, I feel like you do gain all these leadership skills or these communication skills. And when you're part of the STEM community, you grow as a person. And I want to give back and show the kids the power of failing, or the power of communication, or the power of a community.
On my end, I would kind of want to try to help create the technologies that would revolutionize the world and get more girls along the way, and also and also pave the way so that people would also be accepting of more girls in the workforce in the first place, because we can always empower girls, but we need to make sure that the community is ready for us, is accepting of us, will respect us if we're there. I have an APCS class, and I'm one out of 5 freshmen who took the class in the first place, and the only girl in that freshman cohort, and it was just me, maybe 5 sophomore girls, in a room full of sophomore boys, and that entire year. And it was a nice experience because it really showed me what some other girls might be feeling, because I was living in this bubble where when you're younger, you don't really realize how oppressed you might be, or something along those lines. I did math competitions when I was younger where I'd be the only girl on the team, and I never really cared because I felt like I was part of that math community, even if I was the only girl in that team or something like I found the fun in there. And I also realized that was because the boys on that team didn't see me as an outsider. They were accepting of me being there. They respected my position there. So I feel like if we get the community to be more accepting, to be more respectful of the incoming girls in STEM, we can also make it easier for more girls to get into STEM.
I would say you felt like you belonged.
Yeah.
And you want there to be more of that, more of that sense of belonging. What advice would you have for us, for schools or teachers that are listening or people that run school programs or state programs, so that there's more girls like you? Because you definitely have a clear why behind what you're doing, and it's working for you, but like you said, it's not happening for everybody yet. Mm-hmm. It's not in every school every day for every student to have an equitable access to STEM education, and I think you've made a real clear point about why that's important and what kind of difference you can make in the world. What ideas do you have about how to make it a localized solution that people could understand, and if they could do one more thing that would help, what would that be?
For me, I like to think of it as like giving the opportunities for people to build confidence. I think confidence is really key to feeling like you belong in a place, in a group, in a community. So giving girls, giving minorities, giving everyone the opportunities to build the confidence in STEM is just really important in order to build confidence, in order to build those communities where everyone is important. So yeah, that's my advice.
Confidence matters, yeah.
It really does.
I would say another good quality is encouragement. Elaborating on what you said, encouragement is something that builds confidence. So when we have great teachers, great mentors, and great opportunities that help people like feel encouraged, like they can do it and they can pursue their dream, then that's when we will have confident girls. I feel that is when we're gonna get everyone encouraged and excited about STEM.
I mean, when we think about like half the U.S. workforce, women make up half the U.S. workforce, but only 27% are in STEM. If we can get more confidence and encouragement, maybe we'll change that number. So there's not 5 girls in that class you're talking about, but there's more. What other advice do you have?
My advice would be to find your what and find your why, and then let that be what drives you through everything in STEM, through all aspects of it. I guess mine was art. I guess that's kind of... But it really was what led me to explore it more and find what I can do with that. And then I guess take that why or that what and let yourself take a chance with it. Have people that support you and find them and like stick with them and allow them to guide you where you're going. Because like my mom, she fueled my passion for like food and science and art, and she, bought a bunch of chemicals off Amazon and allowed me to make an explosion in our kitchen. But that's what got me out there, and I saw it happen in front of my eyes. So just allow yourself to take a leap with that and enjoy yourself in that, and don't stress about it, because a lot of people were like, I don't know where this is going to take me, or I don't know what I'm going to do in the future. Just enjoy it.
That's really wise advice, to find your what and your why. That goes back to who's doing the science and what are they doing it for, why are they doing it, and to think that you're taking your own personal passion, like what drives you, and turning it into the thing that you were meant to do. And each of you has something different, but knowing your what and knowing your why is a great driver.
I would say we need to give girls the confidence to try things and not be worried to fail. I tried so many different passions, so many different things before I really found that CS was my calling and CS is where I wanted to go. And all those different experiences build up upon each other. I don't want to go into a robotics main, but the background I have in robotics can help me build a bionic arm or take my CS into the real world and build something that could help someone up front. So we need to make sure that these girls they don't stick to one thing. They are not told that, we only have access to science, chemistry stuff, so you can really only do that. We need to make sure that if these girls even have an inkling of passion for robotics, they try it. They even if they fail, they learn something from that. So just going there maybe and just learning nothing, that there's no point to that. So just going, trying, failing, and learning something from that and applying it to something new.
Spoken like a real scientist. You try something, you put out your hypothesis, you put the scientific theory to test, and it's okay to fail because there's learning that happens. How about you?
For me, it's kind of similar to what everyone's saying. It's having the confidence to take risk.
Yes.
To go out and put yourself out in the world, regardless of whether or not you know the outcome. It's just being in a situation where it's okay to fail or it's okay to succeed. Either way, you're taking this next step on your journey to becoming part of STEM. whether that be similar to joining robotics. If you don't like it, you can find new passions, and STEM really just provides that community where it's okay to take this risk and it's okay to fail, really, because you learn as a human and you grow as a person in STEM.
I'm going to have one more question for you before we wrap up, and maybe it's one person that is we call it, I went to a school actually here in Atlanta about a month ago where girls were in the STEM field and they call themselves STEMinists instead of feminists, and it's Sheroes. And do you have a STEM Shero, a hero in the STEM field that you look up to?
So I would say my Shiro is pretty close to home. My middle school math teacher, Miss Michek, she's the one that really entered me in my math competitions in 6th grade. She gave me the confidence to pursue STEM, but she also, during the years of COVID, she was the first teacher to really reach out, kind of build a community in STEM virtually when really no one knew what was going on. And her confidence in her students, her confidence in me just pushed me to be interested in STEM and kind of pushed my rest of my STEM career.
Yay for our teachers that give you that kind of confidence that you can take that and do something with it. Thank you for recognizing your teacher.
I think that's such a hard question. I think my favorite Shiro would probably be Kathy Law at Oregon State University. I mentioned before the club that I was a part of. At a very young age, I started, and she was just so welcoming to me. And she kind of brought me in and took me under her wing because I knew nothing about science. I had no clue what I wanted to do. But then she taught me about the STEM, and she just inspired me and just built this spark inside of me. And she's the one who got me really excited about joining this program. And she's just really marked my path and helped lead me to what I want to pursue. Yeah.
Mine would have to be all those math teachers that made me do math. My 4th grade math teacher, she really made me real happy, and she really saw the potential in me in math. But I would have to say my mom, I guess. She really supported me and encouraged me and found programs like this one that allowed me to be here and see other people like me and try new things. I've been in so many different camps that I hated at the time, but I look back now, I'm like, wow, that was actually really cool.
I know why I did that. That's great.
Yeah. On my end, I would say that all the after-school teachers that help support all the programs like Science Olympiad, Math Counts, and my 4th grade teacher was also a big help for me too. I was pretty ahead of the class at that point. It was when you do work and then you end up helping others. I was just kind of sitting there bored, so she would print out extra materials just for me to do, and I basically finished the entire 5th, 6th curriculum in her class probably, but it really set me up for a math passion. And in 6th grade, I was able to take Algebra 1, most likely because of the help that she gave me then and the support. And I didn't even know that the work I would be doing then would pay off, but that really stemmed a passion for competitive mathematics with Math Olympiad, Math Counts, so and so on. And definitely my mother as well for forcing me to go to some of these programs. As Olive said, I think I probably hesitated at the time, just being yes, I'm in a room full of a bunch of other people who don't know what they're doing. But I mean, if I press buttons on this robot, it moves, so that's cool.
That's cool.
So just kind of fostering the idea of that's cool, so why don't I use it for something else? That's interesting, why don't I look at the news to learn more? And just kind of fostering curiosity, because once you start asking questions on how the world works, you truly understand what it has to offer.
Yeah, one of my heroes would probably be my mom and my dad. Both of them have provided me so much support. They were the ones who put me in programs that I did not want to do. But when you are there in that community, you're dang, I really like this. Why don't I take this and use it outside of this club or outside of this program? And then I would also say my after-school program teachers, like you were saying, they definitely provided this opportunity for me to explore new passions, explore a new world, essentially. They opened up this new idea, this new viewpoint for me, and that definitely led me to be more involved in STEM and definitely helped me find my passions. So I would say my after school teachers and my mom and dad.
Well, I would say as a flight crew, I would love to join, and I'd go anywhere where you guys are flying. So the future is bright with you all as our leaders in the STEM Next Flight crew, and your passion for what you're trying to do, your stories about encouragement and curiosity, and how your schools and your families poured into, your communities poured into, and the fact that you want to actually give that back to the world and make a difference is where I find so much inspiration, and that's why you're the flight crew, and you're showing the way so that more of this can be replicated. It's not just the 5 of you, this can be for other girls, and this could be across our country, and that's the support that we want to be able to give with huge investments at the federal level to find the kinds of programs that work like this so that we can scale and replicate them and actually unpack once and for all the kinds of inequities that have existed for far too long. Doesn't have to keep happening, and you're showing what's possible when we do we say we do the right thing for the right reasons in the right way at the right time, and we deliver on equity, meaning students get what they need when they need it in the way that they need it in safe and supportive environments for your learning that nurtures your spirit and your curiosity. And so I want to say it's really inspiring to listen to all of you, and I see our future bright with this great flight crew. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you. What did you think? Aren't they incredible? Thank you, Lily, Olive, Maida, Kiana, Evie. You all are doing great things, and you inspire all of us. I'm so confident about the future of STEM because girls like you are fully engaged and committed to being STEM leaders in the future. These girls are a great reminder of why we have come together at this summit. If we make mathematics education rigorous, relevant, and joyful, students will develop a passion for the subject, which then empowers them to learn more and change the world. Let's create systems, not pockets, of excellence that build on our students' innate sense of wonder and curiosity, which then leads them into all aspects of STEM learning and careers. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great summit.